on share. Senior, share. Move a legal break here. Echina, yeah. Oh, sir, no more about that. October.
First Monday in October.
First Monday in October. Nothing happens in the legal court in some in
so one lower courts in lower courts in break. So circuit court, district court, break. And there are always vacation courts. There are always vacation courts because there are some issues here. But largely no. Court breaks. Superior courts in break. And now the lawyer for Ejuma, not just dispute resolution, and I'm not just going to court. What is about just 10 to 15% of Ejuma a year. Okay. So all the other aspects of legal Ejuma there, so it's not even that from superior courts. And
all right. Young concept anymore as you near Berman over journey as and in fact and any chancing on a letter from the Ministry of Health or can say a bioma clearance signed by the PRO, say, and then some 15,200 nurses and midwives. Say financial clearance about say a bitimina or moko or more portals and so now or register to be considered for appointment. Say they be almost 30 a but the issue really is that the General Secretary of the Association of Unemployed nurses and midwives. Now, in Comodim Niche say, a more backlog, and your number TFC 65,000 between 2020 and 2024 year woman. And it was for letter and they are two screen so no. Said they be in no follow Uncomodino. And much yes, and you know, share that abra form kakrama yena share letter no bra too much you know share dey say letter no ha okay we a public announcement and recruitment of nurses and midwives. The Ministry of Health wishes to inform the general public that the Ministry of Finance has issued financial clearance to recruit 15,200 nurses and midwives. 1. Recruitment will commence on Monday, 5th August 2024 at 12 noon. 2. Qualified applicants are requested to formally apply on the Ministry of Health online application portal by logging in onto link in the wall hr.moh.gov.gh and follow the instructions to select the preferred agency under the ministry. 3. A deadline for submission for application is Friday, 23rd August 2024 at 6 p.m. 4. The public is kindly informed that the recruitment process is very transparent and that applicants should therefore be aware of any person who may approach them on the pretense of assisting them for the recruitment at a fee. The ministry therefore advises all applicants not to make any payment for this process. Whoever pays money does so at his own risk. We count on your usual cooperation. This is signed by the Chief Director for the Ministry, Alhaj Hafiz Adam. We copy the various penifua. I was say we copy one. And back into the studio. And Chief, answer a bit to us. Mami introduce you, comrade Malik Adama. Yes. We're a former NDC parliamentary aspirant for Kain Queen North.
That's correct.
All right. Chief Akwaba. Yeah. Boko dear.
Yeah, me ado. No more say.
O party NDC Mojo.
Oh, so far Mojo.
Sir.
Yes.
O kota maleni bi.
Daily man.
Went to Yanko.
Na yesu ya wechi. So be anti me ko. At least I will say you giant. No, you so shit. Until na ye shit.
To mo hwe no feedback net say.
Oh, it was successful.
Okay.
It was great. And it was also Adivia Eye to say historical.
Okay.
Just because to launch a campaign in the northern region, specifically Tamale, that's the biggest region in the northern region now. It was so great. And when you look at the population, I think the whole Tamale say na Tamale was so. Say wa unim Tamale no. Ubun say so far as this campaign launching was concerned, no. Emma Tamale was so yeah. And it also add up to a lot of things. When you say more activities will go on when it comes to social life and the economical aspect of it. Because hotels and so be and eduane tonso ebeyi
the local economy boosting.
Of course, yes. Just because of there will be demand for those things. It ama they launch your honor. Ama krono so apeja.
And people be the say numbers na screens who are na ye hwe bi no. You say numbers no Dr. Mahmoud Baumia ni constituency campaign kekekra in one constituency was more than numbers now more national campaign launch.
No, I disagree.
Sir.
Just because if we should go on that tangent, just one constituency, the biggest constituency is Ghana, 172,000 population. And the 172,000 population, who we need the whole constituency to cry now, election cry now,
okay.
And we are talking about millions, 5 million plus, and even we had over 5 million.
Okay.
The winner also had over 5 million. But 5 million people, the whole Tamale is not even 5 million.
Okay.
Central is 1 million plus. Pushe voter registered Tamale Central is 1 million plus.
Okay.
That's the northern region, I say.
Okay.
And you know, we won't have, let's say, a whole constituency to be there. But yeah, for instance, Mankobi. But I'm an NDC, and I will surely vote for the NDC. But I wasn't there.
Okay.
There are a lot of people who were not there too, but they will vote for who.
So it's not true
party.
that
And you know, it is not true.
Mobilization is more than.
Name the number of. Name the population of the constituency anyway. But I don't think we should look at it that way.
Okay. All right. Now, council, now before we ban now, I think we starting comedy. Now, say NRA, Ministry of Health, at the release letter be by now by na and and then you see a mark clearance for 15,200 nurses and midwives. I thought that it was refreshing, but the minority so the more this is more like a campaign gimmick. 4 months, 1 month granite for almost 4 years, 4 months to 10 and not would design we ban say as more like a vote buying approach. But you want to take the perspective of council. We are near mouse. Council, no. Apa Phantom Genesis.
Ghana issue.
Okay.
Phantom issue. Ghana issue. To with you for like you rightly said, an announcement by Ministry of Health say of employ 15,000.
Yeah.
Okay, very refreshing news, especially Kanosa can say about 65,000 local. So means from like 2020 and think ordinarily no semper. But the issue up really no counter the fact that it has semper no the lack of belief in Argentina as I say, almost different panel. Because views, because that's not why they are suddenly friends saying recruiting them, because then they change. Then they change between 2020 and 2024.
Maybe having no money
from budget report on the bench by a couple of so then they change between 2020 and 2024. So clearly, I agree with views among former feel say because of political gain. And for me, a symptom of a bigger problem in your political ways, because here politicians because you say you solve Ghana problems. You know because you say you sustain your own in power. Because really, you know, sir, issue we say no, it reflects a bigger unemployment issue. We share IMF program. They almost say anchor. The issue is there. At home, engender the creation of jobs within the private sector. Because you say about the creation of job and the number one place of creative jobs in the private sector. But there's so much pressure on public service employment because buying and putting in place policies are engender job creation or private sector. So yeah, discuss the issue we say no. Am I discussing in isolation? Okay. Yeah, discussing this issue within the context of creative jobs generally, not just tenancy. I mean, for instance, Minister of Interior say, recruitment for security agencies a year, all man the party parliamentary candidates 30 slots each. I think a reflection of a bigger problem. That bigger problem is the way I share economy in creative jobs, and so they be no public service now one also to generate enough revenue, you know. So say to max problem, to max problem in your system, no, and to project itself as working. Not really, they are not working, no. It drew critical times. If I say just about 4 months for election, I may employ amount for midwives, no, and so for me, you know, even though a year good for the 65,000 students are graduates are maybe I think say clearly it shows me say we any politicians or women they are not learning that your mom to me now do perpetuate a system where more committee friends and finance committee or parliament say a Ponzi scheme on the perpetuity side we say, and that got seriously because like I'm saying, only commitment to solve the problems. It's all about decision I make Tekibiano. What will I gain politically? As what you said, these are a group of people are.
So it's not in the interest of the people.
They are reason, you know. Right now, no. I think that's what to say. I say 50,000. You'll be excited, but what I say, but long term, no. Their position best solving the long-term inability of the economy, no, to create jobs.
Your name is Santi Dean Common or Sanchez said, we no prana ya clearance, no. It can even also take like a year, 6 months, a year. Clearance and they release them into various hospitals.
But you see, about I think the news out there say about the funny person. Yeah. Exactly. So they think say just that information would cause them to gain some political or make them have some political capital out of it without solving the inability of the economy, no, to create jobs. Because our interest rate regime of 29%. Over foreign exchange fluctuating. Or are buying on say open creative jobs are just boosting small and medium scale enterprises. On financial to honoma clearly no a big boost. Right. Friends saying SMEs no. And at one gas on far we see also boost the industry. Because one if I now in say a creative jobs no. I buy just 100 million a quarter. Not the over 3 to 4 billion in creative jobs. Into one gas on fundamental status we deal with. Not a creative jobs no. A solving job creation issues no. Onye. Rather no. All the key policy exacerbate your problems no more. Because really, you you're looking at cutting down public sector employment and rather expanding private sector employment. On yes, issues. So for me, still within that system now, quick Ponzi scheme. It's Ghana for you say you could take a decision. Come 7th December, we need to ask the critical questions. So more demo chair is possibly president leader of mine. And she share na modi ebe to honor. As I share no be critics ebe solve sa endemic problem in the economy. The problem being say the inability of the economy, the structure of the economy. A bankasa fiscal policy, monetary policy, the inability of SARS system no. Economic ecology, no, to create jobs. So that is the critical issue people should be considering.
Because most often times, you hear these promises and
you'll be brave.
Mr. Adama, in minority committee on health ranking, the honorable Akando, and in commodity to the press, I couldn't no say say recruitment be advertisement be by in 2020 prior to the 2020 elections. Na ekobai say omo be portals no omo fear as minority be a portal no enuanom no apply any ade no. That was nurses, midwives, any pharmacists actually no mo ka that time. Ye no na yakakoma effective the following year. And these are some of the things Omujina so Ediaka and I mean really ministry no ever out because they are not paying the allowances of the trainee nurses, because and came because ministry need nisikani there. So we are not to cheer Masukakra, and these are some of the reasons why into Moka say it's just political gimmick here. From the Ufri NDC nearby, still Amujina sa.
Anyway. My minchia or my opinion data. Okay. And then the good professor. Minchia Mwankasa and Mibra and then Ewahe. Yes, and you will be in Puna Ebekasa a political gimmick. Okay. Just because we have Mimpomikasa is less than 4 months. Because it's first week December. So it's more or less ending of November. That's when we'll be having the elections. That election is this closer. To me, I don't think government Bia was taking such a thing or bold decision. To take a decision, what you are doing is that you are transferring the burden to the incoming government, whoever the government will be in 2025, which we believe it will be our president, though Ghana's president coming from the NDC, which we think so good. And previous years, a year ago, 2 years back, a year ago, even this year, nurses are agitating. Say, Omope Ejuma. Ebimo Ako Ministry of Health, Ako Daho. Yama police full arrest yobo. Edomoko shame before you release you. Enti anka opportunity be this 15,200. I believe I say a backlog. As a then, you could have employed even about 1,000 or 2,000 just to be reducing the. In that case, you are mitigating the problem and then the issue. But quickly, prior to election, and you say BBC again, which made me feel say is purely a idea just to deceive people. Now, say, hey, employee, young two more, or more employee, young two or more, because nurses are angry, honestly. Almost say almost to nursing allowance, which will be side, but. Before a vice ever con a campaign, some of us knew say the nurses because over a year, some of us know 2 years and even over, including teachers. But still no campaign trailer. Okay, say we've paid the nursing allowance, we've paid the teachers allowance. It took that small girl not back out because already before vice president he can say any the or check. So we always ask. It will take you less than 5 minutes to find out whether it's Triana. And it will take even whoever in charge few minutes to find out, say, does the ministry have money? Can the ministry take care of this 15,200 or not? But when you know, who say, Endiho. Oh, Entino Endiho, no, not who pushes it simply means you are just doing it to gain some political vote in the coming election. So as we speak today, after that small girl, Ebisa vice have to come to Accra. And now, Omoma statement said the Ministry of Finance will be releasing some amount for the arrears. Yes, for the arrears. Whether the amount came or not, we don't know. No one said anything, but they release it.
They received it.
They've received it, yeah.
But
so not all, yeah. So few people have received. But still, there are arrears. And to me, say employment is good because we are reducing the number of unemployment, which is about the 14%. And 14% of 32 million is likely to give you about over 5 million, little over 5 million. And to employ a buffer. But yeah, say, is the possibility there? That is what I'm looking at. One. And two, why won't you hold on? Because we have less than 4 months to an election. So that the incoming president will take his decision. Because as I'm speaking to you, on 13th of January 2025, Ghana will start paying their debt. Debt now is suspended. On 13th, that means President who swear in present on 7th, just a week. Yeah. It was yesterday 8th. Yeah. And as I'm speaking to you, so Ghana, Yeniska, no money in the coffers. We find out. Until no President Bia Orban, a headache.
Now, this kind of clearance for.
That's the question we are asking, but that's a fact too.
And there's no money in the coffers.
Look, there's no money. And look at the agitations. Look at the agitation. Most of the unions, Kennedy along, even the judicial, Ashanti region, no more allowance. It lasts for many years. Not even a year, many years. The Chief Justice have to go there and go and plead with them.
That's true.
And then later, somewhere 3 weeks back, almost they will go back when the Chief Justice came and pleaded with them. Nothing has happened. So,
who did you say?
No, me no. It's just as we said,
a political game.
It is a political game. Honestly, which I think say we shouldn't do that. Sincerely, employing them, we like it, but this thing shouldn't happen. Let me do small politics here. Forgive me. When we say now, former president ACC, these cheap compounds and some of the hospitals, at least those ones, can refer employments in many professions. Many professions. Good. Accountants on the form, cleaners on the form, for procurement unit, pharmacists as well as and they created a lot. But some of them were halted. Kumewu, recently. Kumewu was close to 70% completion. But it delayed that, and then the health minister then was not in good term with the president, because I am aware. So I call her severally. I call promise, next week I best start it, next my contract, blah. Until they just completed their thing 2-3 weeks back. And those things long ago, Anka, you could have pushed this, not only the nurses, but most of the professional side of the human. Into are creating unemployment, and some of those institutions can contribute for payment of these staffs because they make transactions. They take services they pay, and they will also contribute, even if not all, to the payment of some of these staffs. And now a bit reducing the honor. But when we wait election year to do something, just to deceive the public in a way that they will vote for them, my folks say it's not healthy.
And then I share. You see, also maybe portal.
Yes, 5th. That's Monday,
and it will end on 23rd. And then minority NDC more trainer. More predicted.
Also, already, as I said, it occurred before in 2020.
That is the position of Honorable Akando.
Yes, which NCR, at least you are a senior journalist, NCR 2020. Then you just say NC. Because 2020, the competition was tight. And it's fair. Even we still stand by it because me when you say Parliament in NDCBD, I can give you thousands of reasons. Because of a court. Suspended out because it's tied. Because they have investigations. So about 2020 just to boost their chance of winning. And at the same thing they are doing. Because with a due respect, everybody knows that
confidence, Papa.
Not really. I wish say young crop for many employment because IMF can say over 800,000 Ghanaians have dropped into the poverty line. And another IMF policy, is here. Actually, says somewhere next year, over 1 million people will also drop down to where the state at which they are in life, they will drop down again. So if employment is bad, we welcome employment. But money here to say
looking at the timing.
Well, the timing is bad because you are shifting burden, which you've already done that to many issues. Why shifting burden to the incoming president because you will not shifting burden. Or what we took, you shifted the burden to 2020 and above. When you say you are also trying to shift the burden from 2024 to 2025 and above. Let us say, what are we doing to ourselves?
Council, you had you. You say government and our governance is a continuing process, and whether we shifted burden and now we shifted burden, when you come to government, who are say liabilities, any you can say
asset and liabilities.
Assets and liabilities. It is a job one area as well. And you know, say employment is key in your normative future, and they need to get employed. And the infant say after from 12 we need 2024 elections. Would you speak the same language? Say the Asudi and the Abremwana.
No, Sandy, because you see, answer over your of problem crowd or over encounter. So for me, you know, and yet excuse to say the Oba before you know, we create
problems among
because the reason why you want to lead, you know, because you identify problems via official say, what the leadership skill, or the solution, or the policy guidelines are a bit of our survey. So, because okay. The reason why we say because there's a problem, we think you have special skill to solve. So for me, you know, the fact that there's a mess and excuse for that's the reason why Alan Chairman Tempe so be present. And you see, young weekly, then a system no your party na a be govern.
Okay.
Yaman clear because again, since I didn't know, am I here? I take a decision because we will take a decision. Yeah, the constitution does not give executive power to the party; it gives the executive power to the individual. Your obligation because of that, to really study the persons on your presence. Because so far, at least you have the benefit of having seen 5 presidents, 3 having been sponsored by the NDC, 2 having been sponsored by the NPP. Offer president of another, a difference day and night. What I say, difference day and night.
Day and night,
day and night. Difference between President Kufuor and Nana Akufo. Day and night.
Saying
how in terms of leadership, in terms of governance, in terms of policies. President Kufuor time the country was so good. Say na banks in Chase person my besia. Oh, and then I share Koshoko. Eli leadership and another Ediamai. Difference day and night. Sana offer. You
describe this governance as Koshoko.
Leadership, am I losing confidence in political? Am I gonna losing confidence in political leadership? Leadership in Cabra Champion, and can you say kind of sorry here? In one of the fundamental abominations of public service. So while we public service, over attempts to talk. Friends, public property. You see, friends.
Brian Champo, you're the first person now.
No, on me, I'm not the first person, but see what about the incidents. The friends saying the rampant nature of this. How can a constitutional president and the trust has been created to use a share Ghana for Japan there, being minerals? And I watch now. What's our party for area Ghana, Japan? What I say, and just say, economists who take decisions which are shocking. How can justify the interest spending 5 billion, about 5 billion on NAPCO, just 400 million on one day when at the end of the year can say job creation is a massive problem in the economy. What I say, how can just obey transform the economy? So I just kind of what I say. And you need to 2 nations inside any political party. Now then, what it then does is that it places a burden on you. Say, but the critical thing is what is the commitment levels of the Osobey presidents to the Orkan? Because stock there is cheap. And at the end of 1 year in his life, both private and public. I just a bit more solve some problems. Because example, and with time with the I come here, I have just about 3 minutes. I just done cockot. Timber we say okay. Who said share all the 17 times I call IMF now? There are 3 issues in the battle to the 4. The inability of the economy to raise revenue. The friends saying unsustainable levels of your debt. And friends saying lack of inclusive economic growth. Now, share revenue need debt levels now. Some of the measures, one of the key measures, they might say freezing public sector employment. I didn't hear because most of Sikaka can generating a huge, unrealistic public service. I didn't say huge. I didn't say they are public. Buying for or employment into the public. We say, clearly no. Only Sikando with the tier or moka. Because on to me creating system, my private sector no a creating Juma. Because go all over the world. If there's one thing that is clear, say the biggest employment, or the biggest institutions are creating Juma, the small and medium scale enterprises. Because of that, you must deliberately have programs. Both one in terms of economic environment now will create because it is a duty to create a right economic environment now a bit boosting production and consumption because both production and consumption drives an economy. And 2, who are buying that so you so power one fiscal policy no and they so small and medium scale enterprises no are saying to cause them to grow. That's the only way you can grow. Fortunately for us, about creation and creating systems are a boosty enterprise development. Ghana, fortunately, will be a year of international standard, world class. Alan Chamantin, because Alan Chamantin, one of his biggest strengths, what demonstrated all over the world, are governments and even the UN are calling on him for about building the SMEs. UN for using or Empretech, you are using or enterprise. Africa. In fact, a little point to it, UN for program Yama Africa. Start tapping in some of the creative one of the most transformational policies or institutions in Africa. That is the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. They don't know what it say. And as far as public life, we're demonstrating an unalloyed commitment to Nelson. You know what I say? Obey. They don't know what it say. And also, GTP, so I share you are formulating the GTP. You have to say, clear, this is somebody who has a plan, who understands the problems and has a plan. Intuition, they are why in the clusters now, 6 clusters now, because of lack of time to go through. But just economic cluster, make about SMA, but this is just the job creation. One, or can't, what did I say? To create jobs, such as to create an economic environment, and the cost of doing business a cheap. Because you can only create jobs if you are enterprise economy. If you are enterprise economy, then you must create an environment, an economic environment, and more cost of doing business cheap. Then the raise the cost of doing business. One, the interest rate regime. The interest rate regime, I say no, a poisonous to business. Because if say policy rate at 29%, 0.5, and that's it. So the a bank need more risk factor can hold the margins can. I just wouldn't cheap cry by 40%. How many businesses realistically and they beat me are surviving under this regime? Into one, your focus is to drive interest rates to almost single digit. Especially when areas are global village, you are competing with people all over the world. Even in West Africa, you have majority of your countries in West Africa, they have single digit interest rates. How are you going to compete with them? They don't know what to say. And now, 2. Dear President, or bar or the song SMS no as because in him say business be one of the things or more business be here just and pay here and from here mujano capital. It's a capital is either in the form of equity or debt. Inside a system is Kenya has equity no the MB and more of the debt now. Now about so no. You say the European economy end like I'm saying both fiscal and monetary. Bank of Ghana for no dear politician no more dey to honoma ebema SMEC enya easy access to financing already. You say economy and say largely informal. You say formalized no. You say informal what it means is that a lot of businesses are invisible to the to the aban. Aban unko dakikewo. Just have a deliberate plan. Tennis invisible businesses to visible. Because that's the only way you can also raise your revenue. Into no the policy on one. Also SME example, so I be a loan guarantee scheme. From a Bank of Ghana, a loan guarantee scheme. As a loan guarantee scheme to SMEC, then you owe as an incentive, say one, before you can have tapped to SAP policy and enjoy, formalizing. Just imagine the number of small businesses that suddenly do transmogrify from being invisible to visible.
Yeah.
They don't know what to say. So for me, and your examples are all over the world. You can't for baby, you play for America, you say it just didn't happen by chance. Young guys after Second World War, Omunya lead the Eisenhower or introduce policy and maybe a friend of Small Business Act. So Small Business Act created small business agencies. How come America say every district biano Omu side agency saw SMEs no as in America job creation ebusano. Some policies when you now were a great transformational planning. 10 times I say time I remember. Some policies when you now were your GTP number. What say clearly a bad solutions now as best solve your problems. Example, how can you justify or my in this car over 5 minutes as 125? The doctor say, but that is not those view. Alan Chamantin say, oh no, Mrs. Embro 40, and to show you his commitment, he's already told us in his plan exactly what ministries you have, and it's all kind of
we realize that one magic, and one.
What I say, if there's something that Mimi, I say one, he understands the problems, and problems, and even great, because you don't come and lead because of say, oh, you come and lead because of say there's a problem. Bia nakupa ma aduma chedi bia o force person dey some of my and not true. And that's very critical. Mission the private life. The fact say in 1994 US Times say yeah 400 the force some one yansa obetimi push areas into the next millennium you list to Alan Chamantin. Obia Nelson Mandela, every prison by year president of South Africa say, me here obit me nyansa building up SME enterprise among blacks in South Africa because they had been marginalized for a very long time. One of the key people calling on to do that was Alan Chamantin. What I say? Obia even Empreteko Ghana say a lot of businesses Casapreco, Angel Muninano, beneficiaries of the SME for NDC former MP for Denta. On that case, one can say no benefit of friends saying indeed we should the nyansa or the formulate the 1D1F policy. But for a fact of no Alan Chamantin only the power of fiscal policy. Nanado fiscal policy and Nanado president. That is to show commitment to a program by Sika. When I say where you had to show where your commitment by where you put your money to. Into one enough Sika answer. What I say? Obi have NDC for couple recognizing any value. To extend say last me share sports minister, former sports minister. Say I think was in 2014 more year GIPC Act no. John Mama insist here. Say before they will pass to present the say no and necessary some they may be Alan Chamantin biano because of special wisdom no. Omo no some Christian for Senegal. Until you will be a Ghana Yakoba don obi a the skill set, the commitment, the character are suited for your problems are FCCCR. We shouldn't make a mistake and sidestep him. Because then what is going to happen is posterity for your generations. Your generation when you bro.
The president that never was.
Because all can be a very good question beside me and I'm media airco. Say
now
in fact time I think oh, say remember. Before 8 o'clock. Before 8 o'clock, because say questions for home papa. Baby, so do date.
Because the work can say no has o dey war na gugu ani mama. Questions come questions because the mama fatia say but o for yenset date on because answer judge we bet me. But we say also o can be o can be. I say and I mean also allude here
president ebeko nti obe continue audience no much as if enfano if you say so because leadership is continuous government is continuous oh your presidency you shouldn't just be thinking about yourself you should be thinking about the obeba which you know.
But don't you think that this current really, government, the government, most often times, they prefer serving the party than Omaino?
Fantastic question. Fact, the biggest problem in this country is a political culture equity, which is very parochial. In the decisions they make, both party for any presidents, they are so consideration most of the time. Or more party, and especially Nanado. Also, we are subtle, but we who be why glaringly. To send another, because that statement is very irresponsible statement. It's to say, I mean, man, for development and Bremo. Because any responsibility is actually doing the
as a president.
As a president, I say, man, found back because man, Thomas MP. But we are president who take it also. So you are going to dedicate yourself to the well-being of all Ghanaians. Or take it out oath.
As I text the public person.
And what I say, but ultimately, I catch a plain place of men female because man to a mommy MP. But me just say, those are the focus. Now, yeah, may be protected. One enemy political party. I'm on drink and phone. And that means this election we are very critical. Because actually see it to me transforming the perception about political leadership in this country. Because political leadership loses credibility. The economy, it loses credibility. See, you could take a decision. You will be able to me. I restore the confidence we have. Imagine, say, you're president. Now, could choose easy. Also, you're president of Ghana. You could choose easy. Referee. Now, what could choose a party for?
Autopilot.
Now, which is only responsible. Only responsible. But just immediately, I just who said, no president of Ghana. Now, I said, I'm faithful to Ghana. Let me choose to be or the easier people will never probably having with registration exercise maybe because Ghana for him J.
But council, you see, so we share GTP anymore, which I know some colleague doctor so Ashim. What's national GTP more?
Yeah.
I mean implementation, how I'm be money money at the idea no a task more per year. Over the years. Government out, and we all can attest to the fact that these promises, maybe cry about we need a man to save Mother Ghana, and then Hong Kong, by ABC. Say ye judge the duopoly of the NDC and the MPP. Now ye ba momo honum say ye ba alana on your political party or inclusive governance. To swab was our GTP because ye who be that. Mekaisa 2016, prior to the elections, air trade fair anymore. MPP for Bujaka Siapa 2016, I come here na to Echa. Ye 7 December, I could see January. And also to say, yeah, problems in Ghana for Yahotoso or MPP because of the manifesto which I still have. Uridia, say Ghana problem I see. Now GTP and so ABBA, who read GTP all sectors. Because we are at a crossroad. We know what I say. NPP, NDC, and all political parties. Any area chief, Alan Kojo Martin. Say
one fundamental difference. I watch it is any manifesto anymore.
Okay.
I hope. Previous manifesto from Bamaya 1-1F. How are you going to do it? Yemisa and Anche.
That's also instrumental behind it. No, so I'm
but say
party no.
So who's American? Time become power of fiscal policy. You know, obey minister no. Clearly, chair how obey 1-1F no. Obey minister. What is listen 1-1F? You are buying a basic factory. They are buying say one amount interest rate subsidy.
Okay.
What I say 2 would not report a bar be free. But that was post a friend saying manifesto. Manifesto can boom. 1-1F, one village, one
so
dam.
The people thought that they were going to build factories.
Now, what exactly? But what the manifesto and what we didn't ask, how are you going to do it? The how wasn't there. Osha GTP now, beyond say say no, it goes further to then give you the how. So within the GTP no ankasa no, I tell how and I'm on because of time. I'm not just one way say and be clear to say all about SME, what shall say on Obama Bank of Ghana, obey policy, our Bank of Ghana bears a loan, something like a loan guarantee scheme. I be only she capital to a friend saying,
I don't know some whom you know.
Because institutional. What I say. Two, even about the lean government. Some people can friends saying ministers. What they were called a headquarter chair. How are obe meji to give you the 40, so that unlike other previous weeks, Alan Chamati be president, or if be contrary, you can just take the G2 and talk say but in let's say 1.6, okay, so you fix the Bank of Ghana policy rate at levels that will progressively bring lending rates down to a single digit. But only because that is how to create a low competitive interest rate. Beyond the fact that unlike other manifestos, we are child the how also. The character of Alan Chamantin. And because that's why I say buy your problems here. SM, how to create jobs and things. Fortunately for young Ghana for and then the 40, and then you say, okay, cool. Why you be Empretech under the UN? Why you be Enterprise Africa? Or why you be South Africa? Nelson Mandela. And if there's one idea, yes, so fundamental about Alan Chamantin, you who public life. It do me be a money piano. Everyone saying, even ACF, African Continental Free Trade Area. It's a dainty NPP, Amanyuko, Nebrana, a chief woman, Aman, a Sakwaniano to do all these things. And not a name, what's in a honor or near this uncle. So, or the union, so, Unya time, Ministry of Trade. Ukonoma, Ubon say, what, Oma list 10-point industrialization agenda. Kind agenda now. One shall be pay a board and a component. Because oh, you're minister, say all you have is the power of policy. Eba decision doesn't seek because the way Eba sika would be implemented there now. And you know what's out to me no. South to me no war a buy and cast. Oh, in terms of I don't know your president. The priority in your 10-point industrialization agenda and can talk about subsidy. Companies for 4 years, almost subsidy. Automobile industry for a year, beautiful policy. To date, almost subsidy a deep mobile. Abandon fulfilling a part. I go to see the minister in the Fortana. But minister, all he can do is the policy. But basic car or the best policy. That one is the power of the president. They don't say more you president right now. No, me na me control this our person. What I say, and my priority because my priority a year in creating an enterprise economy which will create jobs. You will find some priority by year more to SME factories, agric transformation, and fortunately for us, these are priorities are a bit creative problem. The way economy now want intimate creative growth, intimate creative jobs, intimate creative prosperity. And resilience of the economy. Fortunately, that is his policy, his priority. I didn't know my young fire holding in a young singer and fan tapa page. The young critics are strong Ghana. Oh, Naganansa and rise up again to be the black star of Africa.
But before I sorry, my miss, last one. I should pass with time, Lusa. But I'm bisa. Ceciano, scanning or my scanning. Why would you two say confess? A more and some for that so a whiskey. Sir Alan Bao Besha.
Oh, so one. Say yes,
because what the debt to be on the 13th of January.
So one. Yankai said, and probably when you face an issue, you face an issue in 2000. The president for Eba. The president for leverage on no president for now credibility on LED or my job can my some kind of relief. So president because you see if there's one thing automatically benya. Immediately, a pammy is a pammy and not doing the bomb and refuse to pay. When you lead out with my ride on, just that bounce. That credibility is not necessarily hypocrite. What I'm saying is at least to have a renegotiating with that person to get some form of relief.
Okay.
What secure some? There's something that also. Oh yeah. You say one inflation you're causing there because much is skill. No, you're right. Say. You shouldn't finance monetary financing shouldn't be more than 5% of budget. It actually says one gasano ultimately enforces at the end. 2021 2020. A beautiful maybe PPP Act, which whose focus is what by over attractive private investment into infrastructural development for a more parochial interest in or more young uses at the end. Immediately, I just so buying next amount of Nala will do that. We'll find a way of giving private sector investments, so incentives to invest in SAR or infrastructure development. That's the kakra na wono ubebopono ubenya no. Ode eso SME sectors, real sectors no. Sector of economy na e be boost productivity no. Sana yebe no.
Right. Banking for na you go yen there. E ho sem be later.
E be engage you nyame boa producer ni obe kasa. Yeah, what's up back na ya hwe. Mr. Adam afeche we dey sorry na ya di show ni nyina ma.
Okay, na off on you.
When you trim di dimpa because am wo GTP na.
Yenda busuafo asese omugusu ani etina wo dwumedi so na yen hwa de se bibia be koye e de ama yen nyina se ye chechire oman na ye hwe se bibia nso no ye beto ato adwene a ese ne efata na Ghana benya ne ntima pa na efra Mr. Adama ye ba so na afi ya to ankomodie ne so we de fire firm enne enro akra youth employment agency so advertise employment eyi ewo omo portal so mo come website eguso so call for application school support program SSP any dey keke on say this time no aban BA system ni mu e fa nkofo bom hu ana
boy
okay
but all say they are be enye just because
all fa ni pa adwuma no
maybe
okay
as I said earlier woman nkofo adwuma was nkofo be ni adwuma e beti unemployment e beti ebreso into but say you did like one scanner me no kase nkofo be bri wo a omo allowance not the salary allowances be bri even salaries edumoso dako NCC na osi obefa nkofo obefa anka ya earlier 6 months to the election even election year day 1 which is day 1 nkofo bet mark say I dream and I buy but less than 4 months I say for less than 4 months because Sinamisika is first weekend it is in less than 4 months election that's all what you are doing may create avenue for employment. Meanwhile, there are a lot of issues. You hear they are stabilizing. Now see employment. Which simply means who shifted bed to President Obama.
Yes, percent. Anything I open say we did him.
You say you did him to solve problems now. Who they are to her? Now what we say? Who nipa now try to be solving the problems they in the. But and yet say you'll be adding because him say 2016.
Maliko ko say so nya na adwin so o say ba ba
him Obama national security IFUs the resource now said the possibility of Baumia winning the election is minimal. It's not even possible. So they are this is in the public domain. That's somewhere 3 months back. But national security they are trying to hide it. Person no more keep it out.
Sir?
Yes. Next time never met the report out. But there are a lot of pools are about out. How many civil society groups and the state of Ghana is not only the economy, the state of Ghana in general. I don't think Obia Opega will say something to Amba, the sitting president. Now, or can't me shortly me for Wimbra. Now, he council Eka say, Abaya on one nipa air top your property. When me braping say it's not the first time, but it's the first time a minister, an MP, cabinet minister, and an MP air to your assets. Cabinet minister and MP first time. It's the best hotel in Ghana. And the 5-star best hotel in Ghana, Nobody Beach Hotel.
No, the Bonnie why any day. Who now?
The Bonnie, Bonnie, no Bonnie. Why yellow? A buying on a white Bonnie. Because don't allow a cabinet minister as an MP who sit in cabinet. Now, Obama told the best hotel in Ghana, which owns by us.
But is it not because you know, say Brian? enya Brian na di n'anim ko so woton Rock City na eton as an entity.
Who owns Rock City?
Yes.
Who is the biggest shareholder?
Because you know that Brian
is the biggest.
He has management.
But he's the biggest shareholder of Rock City.
That is a fact.
That is it. He signs. Like my company, I sign, I do everything. Unless me, then I give out money to whoever. He signs. Only the biggest shareholder. So it's him. On where we are coming
it's because
from.
You know it
and
is
the
him.
danger
That is why you have a problem.
No. And then the even danger is that the cost, even there wasn't fair for value for money. Because Yeti say the former chairman of the NPP, Freddie Blaze, in the back offer 150,000, 200,000, and I'm rejecting. Meanwhile, this man is buying it less than 70 million. Less than 70. More than twice the cost. So it is not. You get it? Let me go back to my scenario. Oh, in 2016, we had challenges to your generation power. But before 2016, as of 2016, all the machines are here by plants. There was a creative, another policy which can be reducing the cost of plants like the buyer, which was the ESLA. We introduced that levy, so you can be using the levy to be reducing the cost. And ESLA was generating fund. When we bring Ayalolo, we created outer lane so that in the traffic, you see, whatever we do, you put a remedy so that even if it won't solve the whole thing, it will reduce it day in, day out. Yeah. Let's speak of this government. We are in 2024. Whether crook or whatever it is, you will leave power. The other, we are trusting God's willing, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. That's our trust. Good. Now, whether crook or not, you are leaving. Now, say, who leaving? Now, this, we are creating this. Unfa solutions, Ember. Unfa a beer policy, beer or the tone China, at least in Crawford way, who form Abano. They could have used to educate you and educate poor. You don't do. But who no be a porter, let's employ these people. Who will be a porter, let's employ these people. Who will be a porter, let's employ this. I mean, when you say one way or the other, you are trying to destroy the country. Not repair the country. And into those employment now, I don't see it as maybe it's good for the country. And the president has a good thinking and then good motive for the country.
I say you want to come and have a holiday being government. That's like you say be meeting problem.
There are existing problems. The banking sector, it was political political dissolve. Almost dissolved politically. Because even the basic one say solvent you cushion the bank. Who cushion you emerge them. One person very emerge, you take over. But you don't collapse. Everybody knows. So today, should we collapse Bank of Ghana, Central Bank?
So Dika.
Or Dika.
10 billion.
Or
last year.
Last year
first
no, last year, the 6
and year 2022.
And year 2022. And the last one was the 10. So look at the car. So should we dissolve it? The answer is no.
No. Yeah.
So should we dissolve these banks? And do you know what the banks did for Ghana? In Kofuji, small loans were facilities. That is one. And they created unemployment among Crawford. But who dissolve it? And the danger is that it took you over 1 year to dissolve them. So during the 1 year, year, just because by then, what challenges? What are you doing? And it was a bad policy to implement 400 million Ghana cedis. Say every bank should have it. It was a bad policy. Because according to Steve, you can't compare the foreign to local banks. You can't compare the strength. They are not the same. And you should have given a ratio. Our local banks can be literally low. 200, 150, and co. And foreign banks, which are bigger because they have branches across the world, can be that 400. And it will keep them in business. But Obaya, you brought this, which is purely bad policy. They didn't think about it. When you now nyame ado Now, former President Bar Ocean is there. No, but you're why do you have to be embedded whilst you are watching? But you are left with 4 or 5 months to leave power.
But Malik, the thing is that he's still the president.
Yes.
And he's still ruling.
Yes.
It is a 6th January.
Yes.
Kranas here, baby, see your henny on the 7th. That's what I say. Obey an appointment, employment. He still has the power.
He's there. I didn't say he has the power. But when you are exercising the power, at least with the CBCB, with the reason, that is where we are coming from.
Okay, having said that,
with the reason,
having said that, would you say that
yes.
This is also part of the reasoning issue now who resists here as regards this position by this Nanado administration? A government to employ over 8,000 nurses and midwives. This was in November 2016. Now, Setekwe had given clearance to these people to be employed, and this is the letter, to be employed in March 2017.
Perfect.
What say it you?
You see, there are two differences.
What's the difference?
The difference in the year. Letter by November. A following year. Following year, no. Say we need a NDC we need a better take it. So he has a 4 years term again. And you know, a better taking March. And even in 2017, it's a full duration of a year.
But this letter was in November.
The letter was in November, taking effect in the following year.
Good. Yes.
So it's not going to affect the elections. There wouldn't be any employment in the election year for even what's the name, payment to be made. But this very one we are talking about, the employment per what we read, the portal will be opening. Admissions effective procedure will start. Internet there will be admissions this year, effective this year, which is an election year, close to election, which will add burden to the election. These are two different. Assuming, say, let Anamaya say, maybe no, they've given the accreditation for employment next year or March. We couldn't have been saying so. The scenario would have been different.
Wouldn't you have still said that it's still putting burden on the government?
No, do you know why I wouldn't say that much? I wouldn't say that much because it has not taken effect. So government in the bar, obey to me, I should obey. I don't obey my shifting, obey my reducing because the BC 2009. There was some projects called SIF, Social Investment Fund. Now the then President Kufuor awarded a lot of those projects in 2008, somewhere September, October. But they took the people to site in January, somewhere 4th and 5th of January 2009, whilst President Kufuor lost. But when President came, and the then Greater Accra Regional Minister, Ashiti, Amashiti, also suspended.
Okay.
For many months, about 6 to 9 months before my green light. And that one is okay. But assuming one who said turns will not, now somewhere in November, no, why are all those things? We will raise alarm. So you are putting more burden to the incoming president. So these two, no, I see difference in these two.
Right. Okay. I mean, what to know, but Misa. Is it no, you know, Kunanim NDC for, you know, Kunanim says Francano, Mamu. And we are looking at alternative government and as a governance or my way. I didn't see here NDC no yes, I any that's what yeah, me that's be brave. Yes, the AD kind year 2016. Yeah. But not Ghana for say at least or more an option on person try. Promises are more option on person
try will be full because of promises are now the MPP. More try MPP. They realize 2016 the government in 2016 I had here as government. That is one. And two, to whom much is given, much is expected of you. And your debt running to 742 billion Ghana cedis. Now, Dien and a bet. Dien and a why. That is number 2. Until team for Ankasa Ebeje. Number 3, just share the rate at which a buying we exercise your Japati. Kennedy Japan being one of our more presidential candidates, Eka said the MPP is looting Ghana as if there is no tomorrow. So who looting Ghana to say Ochina in and then share Yansasi. Parks and Garden wa is a develop AC. Omuntimi nyahu hwe e wo wade. Accra de no na hule yet in Yokokonya, we don't know the state. There's another issue you say head a office a prison service. There is this judicial homes or bungalows. Normal sometimes you 1 acre on 1 acre, 1 acre.
Yeah.
Is no. Almost 2 judges need be come out to the extent that judges no po file injunction. Nkofuna boycott injunction no po still so nobody has the strength today. That is a good question. 2 minutes for him, I'm a judicial cry empty. And once the sun by we are, where are we going? That is the question. Once the sun, yeah, coin.
And the state assets to
the extent, say, per the law, assets such as parks and garden, prison service, and co. Sabine own you should be on farmer, the owners, the original owners. No more don't penal or more than fine. But we know who won't crawl for, and now we're there. use it. Yeah, assembly. Not say Yambe Gigana for yeah, coin. But they were unti that Yamakacha unti bida. As a rebutry, as a civil that offer race junction for on your left, are big strength. The purpose for which it was acquired for aviation purpose, aviation use, aviation for service use. When them say UCBM, the then president must hand over the rightful owners of that assassin. One for into the rightful owners no omo and they don't be bia no money there.
Okay.
But in this situation, Shede Koso. Into say Ghana, Yansa a buying we His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Amba here different. That is the question. And it's a number 2 reason why Ghanaians should vote massively. And we have a president who be being no. Like I said, 1 2 mami. Into the means CC group. And there's evidence. I can speak for Ashama. NDC not the then government. From Sakumono and about the far timber market. Go and see the state of the road. Will be so. Police station name has deteriorated manhole. That U10 manhole. Maybe your friend Mandela Park. There's a traffic light on. Motors to talk for more. That is just because Ashama has been
anyway.
The main road, a stretch from Sakumono straight up to Klago. Under the bridge. So say maybe at 2016, the then government free power. That's the state. And to the baby friend Shalom Sport, no more bridge over. Bridge in Shebusha Mawura Akatana. Just past there, one of these. And the question is,
na beautiful lines na T4 no so na as ye twen wo mo na also de 1 December to obetimi afre wo 0302 771 na oni edin sawo so obetimi so de text message no e de afa yen text message any yen WhatsApp line so na yagibre na yakan ama 0202115445 and 0531971628 na ya ye best money di bebre say sa numbers no text lines ofra wadaroma ye ntimi mfa mprem bebre no ya na ye ka say mamu mfra na dodo na so frɛ ebia na ye gitu ze bia na wo information bi kra wo pese wo de bo adwumadi no but ofra sa line nso pɛ na wa ha ye ntimi mfa na sa information kro no nso un say akokan sinse mu nti bibie ni a wo de frɛ 0302771599 yendinko Mr. Malik Adama daso ewa ha NDC Amanyoko communication team member. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Joseph. Your friend saying boarding na
Alasa Mikasasi Lakeside Estate Ashalbuki.
All right. Yetio.
Bacho Mr. Adama Afi. about state looting asem na okano me sere no pa esrem mama asem enko sa ashalbotwe kwana okano member say money ben na Ghana for yaye me na maye bonne munko sha mo excavators ayadi dia esi ho excavators information I need to almost to excavators in the past me now. Almost to pass me now. Sa ashama asem na okano. Eseweni. Sebajo endomo ye program bi. Enti sa we na mo kire about ejapade we eyampana.
Yampa biwa yampa Japade documents na ka yebebem
say ampa yesremo na yo ordinate na wadi be friend abansini ebe ya enye obia na member ni say ultimate Ctv ti say ya yeti we ebe ko eduma o ye total dollars o ye total dollars but Ghana hudo you be to enter my own ya pack your trotro in the better ye tin sama e ko so Ghana ko ka so ne aka kire mo
okay
se me adum di ayede da se do mama ba na se sa father for all no or the body a Ghana be yede
all right yate
madam ase yankobo na me bo mo ba na ye mama abansini lenko ghetto to ghetto eno na ye benye ahweti ye da mat na shram
okay all right yedase pa onso betimi afre na wo de wadwen kire ediaba. Hello, good morning
sir.
Bacho body baby o kase free
the person ka asem kakra.
Okay.
Yesra ejapa buku mon kamu asemo emayan ya yeni mo lentibi. Ensan semo ho pa wo meyi. Mon kamu asemo mo ni dawo. Emu ni bia mo option adoye na mo ni bi. Na mon kamu asemo nche yen. Ni ehu ni ekoso wo meyi. Na yesu ehu ye na bre ye pa mo chopa.
Okay, yate yada sise onso Japade no ye be baso mensuru we deal with that document. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, no, good morning
boss apomoe
adumo no we dey boy see dey o say the enje afra na ko gudi na bodada Alaji ba ko pe no good morning afra mbom te say me mambo breaking news say me say monte
yate pa betu beti na boso we boso
one say we are say anokwe
Alaji kana obi anti breaking news no mo twan o
breaking news be say Appeal Court had decided a minority leader say when assembly eyi e wo court to be appeal enti court ambulance won asamo Akufo-Addo any attorney general you say one year fair free and fair and magana ni dia one way no as a party member bia what the any opponent edina court e do no so ye ka say won kokko gina Ghana nemu e wa brochiri mandate no any ba Ghana e ma e buti Ghana over $120 million no be ye chano enti ende nyamiadom Appeal Court adisage atofose enti sa court to court assembly na for atofose min na nyamiadom ende apowie efa
yes yate but na the person ni ya nemu senior wo court ho no e sa wo so na ya jinjiri
no mo ma sa
ya tum from
ye nyamia se fa eno ko atikura be ne fika fi ama me nya tia ma wa wo se so the makeup person anokra I said, Kra, oh, near I say to us, so be you with the Crown bed at the pastor. Sana no correct here. And taking a point to Mr. Master. All right, country, effort be dear one that we quack at a Kra Martin of Kra. Among miniatures, Yakupo Chiram, maybe I'm with you. Bye.
All right, that's all right. And also bet me up free. With my friend now, also watch your watching and after we share, yeah, in this producer or the information, no, Abba. I'm sure the producer the Abba the NHS say he has spoken to Yan Rep now. Yeah, on war court. Call Abiba. Here we are. Uber wrap it up nicely. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Pachabodini baby or Kase free.
What's your friend Isaac?
All right, senior you.
Kakrabi, I'm Mr. MPP for Yabel. And see, I'm going to feed the Maya view. Yabre, you're used for me. I didn't say, a battery, you're better at Yao. Yeah, you almost know about Fufa Saba.
All right, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's Unia. Yeah, that's it. Pa no adwenture. Why? Kosua
breaking news into her na the allergy.
Oh, yeah, but say obetimi abo so. Yeah, for last caller na Mr. Adama. Mr. Adama so embe rape enkomodi no. Hello, good morning.
Hello, morning.
Pachoma on this so kakra my body ni baby o kase free.
Good morning.
Yes, it's you.
I'm first of all.
All right, senior, it's you.
Yeah, Linda, I'm just make a come. Make some on my video, you know. A cafe, Yama, or my company, from Saka one day, cram and you cry. I feel the creek of very bad because the room I'm going to hear the answer and our
yeah.
I'm in the back. There's by passing Columbia 18 years. By the next, they are 4 years. I'm like, I see you now. As a man, one way of consequences, I can't come up and you for more. They do mine abroad. My opinion to say you are John Mama, baby, your money with the onion uncle. Daddy, why are you going to bring this on my own? You have your also in. You speak in an air corner or buy a lesson a double. So you know, and I said, yes, because when I come for my catching, when you're going to buy you, you will be uncle. Mind of your mind is a lawyer for any other man. You know what you are sorry. And now your head and your subject, your subject. And your head. I didn't hear because they go to phone. When you almost 8 years with you, also come in and now. And my says, oh, one more mind you get very waiting. Then catch a club of 4 years, you'll be out there. Now 4 years now, so I'm a more winning, and now I'm never, and that's you with the cut. I don't know the cut in the human answer. By 10 years to come, you will be so history about Ghana today. Let us do Ghana.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, shall say, also, I do a gentle. That I am for course in Mr. Adama. Mr. Adama, now, who be a person?
May train one grandma about court proceedings.
Yes.
Don't say, let me take in a Japan. I believe someone or see. Bad precedent and an MPP in the asset. Just because Deputy Finance Minister, I'm a line of credit. That's the LC. Say MPHC BBC. Nasa more train or quarter. Munkai Hunsamono. There are thousands of issues no are pending. And to the moon a bad precedent or one. And
even Kenya Japan had made a similar.
There are thousands of those line of credit which aiming Attorney General. You can just speak to Wadamfa, who is into finance or accountant. Or line of credit is a guarantee. Say you will have your pay. That is all of credit. What I said, that is all.
For breaking news, here you need your caller, Alaji, and officially, I took forcing our honorable member Emma Breman Esiam. Or a minority leader, and they acquitted and discharged from all ambulance cases or court trial or courts. nti eno ho nsem say oni court bi akọ an ambulance ho nsem bi anywhere for no and a court amanadi afofie dem say say we obebo good night powder na say the powder no bebo
we Sunday
powder.
But doc, what's the ambulance issue now about? Sir, 331 one constituency ambulance. What's a spare parts the price?
Exactly.
34.9 million Ghana cedis for spare parts, and a maintenance fee per one $115,000.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the Omodi at force in coin $75,000 per one. But we know just to maintain one ambulance. $115,000. V8, do you know the cost of it?
It's ambulance in the Ukraine. Maintenance no boarding see.
We are sick as a country.
When V8 now, Minister, it ranges from $100,000 to $150,000, depending your specs.
Yes, sorry. So, any last words for Ghana for share one of place?
The may work Ghana for me and sorry.
Okay.
And yet, and a better. More send a crew as an aircraft. More into Mumpie in your numbers. Namumbe voting my excellency John Kaman member. His excellency, one Jina Bibianka said, in a stronghold in Ashanti into undeveloped. At least Ashanti, even NDC. Market NDC. Is it recreational park? Park be Rotary Park. Come on, near Bobo. Don't let me tell around that park and Puno. Share the NDC a year. A lot of emoluments, one and yet a stronghold. But look at a lot of things. But then you're present to be in an area. I want to money. I want to develop you. Where you to money means CCO.
Okay.
And to move we number two massively for the NDC. Thank you.
All right. And Mr. Malik Adama. Oh, you're large, Anna. Okay. And Mr. Malik Adama, former parliamentary aspirant for Okainkwe North. And also Ekoyi.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, that's Teresa Awuni.
Yes. Oberiteni and I Omoji.
Oh, they be Oberiti.
Okay. All right.
Omoji Aho Naba.
Obana.
Awuni na
Obana. Okay. All right. You. All right, Afra, yenye challenge of the day, na sorry so. Na
Director, you have to screen this na Ghana for you na challenge of the day no. Which country was the first in Africa to introduce color television? Possible answers here: Kenya, Ghana, and then Zanzibar. Which country was the first in Africa to introduce color television? Kenya, Ghana, Zanzibar.
Yeah. And we Mr. Damanka.
What about this year?
Wabro. Me wabedi and then bakupe na abetomani bakupe.
Oh, and them do bakupe. Oh. Young quay.
Antino yan shey. Happy birthday we edubia. Edubia, that's as in the picture I already.
Edubia, the screen is super.
Right. Edubia, we a happy birthday from me, to you. Yankopon shira na onto nkom na oma wakoma so ade bia no embremu na enkoye emfema. So Edubia, have a great one. Enche yebishia office. Fa enema keka boom na enoma nye noma.
Nche say Afra eba
bi.
O tafri ja eba bi. Eba tafri bi. Ena yeba honom na. Yes ye ni na ba be di birthday na pepe.
Na yenchia Amelina Children's Heaven en Domase.
Kesi pa.
Yeah. Obapa Anita Reverend Lady Reverend Anita Mrs. Account.
Sir.
Yenda Wanas, Yenda Ophilias, Yenda Ima Amelina. My phone in a do BBS say Majibrena Moshe.
Yena dog was Estelle Natural Clinic.
Yenda Estelle Natural Clinic. Prosper Agbenu ɛne CEO kwankyerɛfoɔ Penny Ondano ɛyɛ Madam Esther Hammond so ɛda wase sɛ maso yasene na ɛnɛdue ne so no yɛde Ctv Dwabo dwumadie no ɛde baeɛ Yakupon Shamo, Papa, na Excel said the Canadian, Omo Malam Quantum Pono, so Malam Bawi Quantum Pono, so Ubitimi Afre or Monio Modins. I was 0536 542 and now 0536 520 897. Na Bibia Wobiano, Ono Mo Achuchun na Omabwao. A fan of diabetes, hepatitis A, B, C, D, high, any low blood pressure. Cholesterol, infertility, and cancer, typhoid, impotence, kidney stone, bladder stone, and a diabiana, also crankobiano, or the baumasuya, extol, bebuana, winya, autoso, kama, now with me about bra. Sana Yakasa, Amalina Children's Haven, and then among Krabatano, Atashi baby, Ukote, Techimana, Wamu. Kumasi Edum Omubutu ho Accra Makola despite building echi ho nom omutua ho Wager Block Factory omo ho nom ena foforo kra omo bie eno wo Ablekuma Amalina Plaza ni mu glass nko omo bo ho a omo bo adwuma de boa adehia wo kroduo mu ha obetimi edi omo achi de abroni se obetimi akohwe eniema omo di hu dwa no pictures ni videos ni de kekeka ho ewo mo social media handles o type Amelina Children's Haven na komodie nesi obi akohu bibia bi wo ho efa nkwada ni ntade wonum mpaboa wonum nsuenum aduane omudie sese bibia beba akra ne benya ahotoso dem sese me kan ma yiden udru ho a bibia bi ewo ho a obetimi na obo ani akoma na wetimi akwakotobie oto online kra na huntimi nkonko fa ono omudi nsawoso a omudi bebrel ewufie home service delivery ni de kekeka ho nyina nti obetimi afre wo mo se so po wo pa bi na watu na wo so akoton na wonya bebi de abọ wata so na wo so bro nya ebei wonya hotoso a obetimi afre wo mo 050167 2445 and 0501672446 na onu modi insawoso kama enti afra
yeah Santi Heba Clinic and so Doc and Ra
yes
any edi kama pa anape Asante Heba Clinic Yechiao and I face so no Yechia time herbal for
exactly
and so and almost so abeso snake Popra just and you know so abeto no commentary no e wa had see easy yes more skill na
yeah skill also I 6 years
yes more skill no
ninketo ano no aponchire ni
encha kese nkoma eye apenkwa wo A+ mechanic shop we say mo hwe kese pa mo ni damu mo hwe ye Ctv Dwabo tincha kese nkoma
they did jamo pa and said the breaking news is that the minority leader, the Honorable Dr. Keso Atoforsen, and the appeals court are discharging and are quitting. It is a Nihuson Sabrobeno.
And they are
for it. Nibim and the coming days, a China boy, if free up a could be Sibusamina, every single Kumia was Sonia. And we share them to say a Japadia document, you know, aha. And action and we'll deal with it in the coming days. And the MPs so no and say bibia and sia one more sorry now Muswa ko Joe Mahome kakra na mo san ko ye campaign said be ya election 2024 no ubia benya no honti ase enti no e do bibia ase se wo gibre na o hwe yen enti medin Dr. Kofiana
Harrison Kwekwofosu, do not frame me after the voice. Yakram, that's an etchna, you